What is up, guys? It's Doodoo Poker here, back for another video. Today we are going to be talking about how to play fish when they check twice as the 3-bet pot at a position pre-flop raiser. So we are the in position pre-flop caller in a 3-bet pot, and the fish is checked on the flop and on the turn. But first, I want to make sure that you guys understand how to play flop. Let's look at MDA for flop when a fish checks to us and we are the 3-bet pot in position pre-flop caller. What do you guys notice? You notice the field as the 3-bet pot at a position pre-flop raiser. The check fold frequencies from a fish are much less than GTO. They're also check raising more aggressively than GTO. So for two reasons, we do not want to stab flop with our air against a fish. So I brought a hand history to illustrate this. We have 9-8 of hearts. We are on the button. The fish 3-bet small. So this is a fish sizing for a 3-bet, and we call with our suited connector. The fish then checks to us on the flop, and we have 9 high, but we know we should never stab flop because of the flop MDA, where we see they over check raise and under fold. So we always check back our air on the flop. That's the first important point. On the turn, we pick up a gut shot on the low end with a 10. And again, the fish checks to us. So now we have a decision to make. He's checked twice. Should I bet or should I check? Well, let's look at MDA for this spot in the field as the 3-bet pot at a position pre-flop raiser. Check, check, fold frequencies. We see, sorry, this is cut off a little bit. We see them over calling. So you might think, well, that means we shouldn't bet. But what we're doing here is we're betting turn to set up a river bluff. We know they're going to overcall on the turn, but that's okay because we have a profitable river bluff. So I'm betting turn either 30% or 50%, and I know the fish is going to overcall, but EV is calculated over multiple streets, so it's still going to be a profitable turn bet once we calculate the river. So that's what I do. I bet the turn 50% pot, and I get called, which I'm expecting to get called. On the river, we miss, and a 7 of spades comes. Now we have a decision. Our opponent checks to us again. Now, it's very likely my opponent does not have a flush here and also does not have an ace because he probably bets flop or definitely bets turn. So I'm thinking my opponent has a king, maybe pocket queens, pocket tens. We have a 9 and an 8, so we have good unblockers. Let's look at river data for check, check, call, check, fold. We see, sorry guys. We see the field as the 3-bet pot at a position pre-flop raiser. For fish data, all the numbers. We see that these are all overfolded. Now what I'm going to do is put these in the EV calculator and figure out what is the highest EV sizing for my bluffs. Go back here and we put it in the EV calculator and we see the highest EV sizing is going to be 70% pot. So when you bet against an unknown fish, you should be using 70% pot. In game, I thought 70% pot would be a little too small, so I chose an overbet sizing. But you can kind of play around with the sizings here. You know 70% pot is the highest EV sizing, but you can go bigger if you think a hand like pocket queens or king X might call a smaller sizing. Now let's go over what we learned. We learned, number 1, never stab flop against a fish when you are the 3-bet pot in position pre-flop caller because they overcall and over check raise. Number 2, we know when the fish checks twice, he's going to call the turn more than GTO, but this is okay because EV is calculated over multiple streets and we have a profitable river bluff. Against an unknown, the highest bluff EV sizing is going to be 70%, But you want to also take in board texture as well. If you think he has a hand like King X or Pocket Queens on an ace-high board, you can size up. Or if you think he has mostly air, you can size down. Because in this hand, it's very likely my opponent does not have a flush and also does not have ace-X. So if you enjoy this type of content, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe. New video every single day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.